This is a fantastic article on reinventing your leadership team. Your organization's future depends on getting this right. Top organizations strive to build competitive advantage and create value for the customer. In this increasingly complex world, organizations may move beyond digitization and reimagine what they would do to create value. But most leadership teams are not set up for a successful transformation. Earlier, leaders could be either great visionaries or great operators, but in today's context, companies need leaders to perform both roles. Leaders should be able to balance these six paradoxical key roles. 1. Strategic executor has bold, ambitious ideas as well as practical capabilities. 2. Tech savvy humanist drives technology to generate future success. 3. High integrity politician navigates the organizational dynamics to make things happen. 4. Humble hero has the confidence to act decisively and has the humility to admit mistakes. 5. Globally minded localist navigate a world that is increasingly both global and local and looking for scale. 6. Traditional innovator uses the past to help direct the company's future success. The four organizational leadership steps are: identify the leadership role, assemble your team thoughtfully, 3. Focus your team on driving transformation, and 4. Take ownership of your team's behavior. Identify the roles you need. Organizational capabilities must create value proposition and competitive advantage. The organizational positions or organizational titles has to be around the organizational capabilities for delivering the value proposition. Organizational positions can be non-traditional leadership positions like Chief Information Officer, Chief Data Officer, Chief Sustainability Officer, Chief Analytics Officer, etc. For example, Microsoft wanted to work collaboratively with external partners. The decision to create a corporate level VP position reflects the importance to create the company's ecosystem to serve the customers. Next example, Apple. Creation of a Chief Design Officer position in 2015 signaled to the organization as well as the external world that design has a huge importance for the company. It is always better to have the leadership position integrated into the core structure of the organization rather than having it for a transition period. Second, assemble your team thoughtfully. Not everyone in the leadership team has to be the best, but collectively it should be able to have a great team in place. Leaders should be able to look at problems and opportunities from a fresh perspective. Leaders should be able to see people who look, think, feel, and act differently than is customary in the organization. Leaders should be open and encourage being challenged. While accessing new hires into the organization, leaders, instead of thinking how well this candidate fit in here, the leader should be thinking how well as an organization we will fit with this person. Organizational leaders need not come from the traditional MBA or engineering background. It does not mean that organizations need to recruit running a corporate diversity initiative or recruiting atypical individuals, but leaders should be looking for varied experiences who have worked with different ecosystems, understanding different abilities, technologies, channels, and different transformational approaches. Focus your team on driving transformation. Leaders should be able to differentiate between operational roles and decision making directional roles, called the perform roles and transform roles. Top leaders, instead of spending maximum time in replying for emails and attending meetings the entire day, should be able to work towards leading the company to move forward. Time is the top team's scarcest resource. Leaders should be able to steer the organization to drive transformation rather than letting the agenda be driven by requests coming from below. Some companies create a separate group to manage the strategy transformation effort, and other companies will have an integrated group for both perform and transform roles. Irrespective of whether it is a separate group or an integrated group, it is very important to address the difficult question: how best to shape the future? Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks, envisioned his coffee shop as a third place where people would spend time beyond their offices and their homes. So he decided for smaller coffee bean grinding machines, even deciding on what music is to be played. Take ownership of your team's behavior. Rivalry in the top ranks, especially in organizations, is common. People may compete for who's managing the strongest P&L, whose function contributes most to the bottom line, or who will succeed as the next CEO. This individualistic thinking gets rewarded in the modern corporations since it drives accountability, but it mostly gets in the way of transformation. The responsibility of the leader is to have everyone in the top leadership aligned around what the company must change and what transformation it should explore. Leaders not only should be able to create ownership around the vision, they should also be able to create a shared purpose. The purpose of the executive team meeting is not to approve or reject proposals but to create value together. Perhaps the most effective mechanism for engineering collaboration is to get parts of teams to work together to solve company wide issues. Effective leadership in teams are about encouraging everyone to put issues on the table, solve problems together, and come to decisions quickly and feel connected to each person's success. The new kind of leadership will always have to cascade downward to build leadership muscle throughout the organization, but the place to start is in the C suite. Question: Reinventing your leadership team. Among the four key components, identifying roles, assembling the right people, organization transformation, and team ownership, which one do you think is the most important component and why? Thank you.